Dawn breaks slowly, reluctantly, as eye of the sky each elf knows what is about to happen. A thin grey mist hangs over the village, crawling between burned out houses and shattered fences. Somewhere in the distance, a dog howls on a and 10 falls ceiling. The air smells of damp earth, smoke, and old metal, an odor that never truly leaves places touched by war. Ivan Petrov stands at the edge of the forest, half hidden among the trees. His coat is too thin for the cold, the fabric worn smooth at the elbows. In his hands is the old rifle. The wood of the stock is cracked and darkened with ash, polished by decades of use. It is heavier than it looks, and when Ivan grips it, the weight pulls not only on his arms but on his memories. This rifle has outlived its owners, outlived wars, outlived promises of peace. He watches the village through a narrow gap in the branches. Enemy trucks rumble in, their engines loud and careless, crushing what little remains of the main road. Soldiers jump down, lying, shouting, confident. To a confident, Ivan's jaw tightens. He counts them without moving his lips. 1, 2, 3, more follow. He memorizes their positions, their habits, the way one man always lags behind the others to light a cigarette. Behind him, the forest is silent. No birds, no wind, nature is holding its breath. Ivan lowers himself to 1 kne, moving slowly so the branches won't snap. He checks the rifle with practiced motions. The bolt slides back with a soft metallic whisper. 1 round, only one. He exhales through his nose, steady, controlled. His hands do not shake. Not now. They shook on us, years ago, the first time he pulled a trigger. They haven't since. A memory flashes, his father's voice, calm and firm, teaching him how to aim. Not for glory, not for hatred, for necessity, for survival. In the village, a soldier kicks open a door. A woman screams. The sound cuts through the mist like a knife. Ivan raises the rifle. The old sights line up, imperfect but familiar. He adjusts slightly, compensating for distance, for wind that isn't there, for the flaws in the weapon and in himself. Time stretches. The world narrows to a single breath, a single target. When he fires, the shot is thunder in the quiet morning. The recoil slams into his shoulder, pain sharp and welcome. The soldier falls before the echo fades, surprise frozen on his face. Shouts erupt instantly. Chaos replaces confidence. Men scatter, shouting orders that contradict each other. Weapons are raised, pointed everywhere and nowhere. Ivan is already moving. He melts back into the forest, boots finding the ground without sound. Branches sway briefly, then still. Another round clicks into the chamber as he runs, the old rifle alive in his hands, eager, unforgiving. Behind him, the village burns louder, angrier. Ahead of him, the forest opens its dark paths, full of danger and refuge in equal measure. This was only the first shot. The war has remembered him. And Ivan Petrov has answered, anyway. The forest thickens, trees pressing closer together, roots clawing at his boots. Somewhere behind him, gunfire creaks through the air, wild, angry shots tearing bark and leaves apart. Bullets wing past, close enough that he feels the air move. Terrifying blind, he knows that sound, fear-wrapped in noise. He dives into a shallow ravine and rolls, mud sucking through his coat. He lies still, fast pressed into the cold earth, listening. Boots pound above him, heavy and rushed. A man sleeps, curses loudly. Another loss, sharp and nervous. Ivan closes his eyes and slows his breathing, counting the seconds between heartbeats. 1, 2, 3. A helmet appears at the edge of the ravine. The soldier peers down, rifle swinging left to right. Ivan sees sweat on his face despite the cold, sees how young he is. Too young. For a fraction of a second, Ivan hesitates. That hesitation almost kills him. The soldier fires. Dirt explodes inches from Ivan's head. Ivan reacts on instinct, rolling sideways and bringing the rifle up in one smooth motion. The shot is deafening in the confined space. The soldier drops without a sound, sliding down into the ravine and stopping at Ivan's feet, eyes wide and empty. Ivan doesn't look at him for long. He pushes himself up and moves again, deeper into the trees. The shouting grows louder now, organized, angry. They split into groups. Someone knows what they are doing. He reaches a rocky slope and climbs, fingers scraping against stone. His shoulder screams where the recoil bruised it earlier, but pain is a distant thing, like a voice heard through water. At the top, he pauses just long enough to look back. The village is barely visible through the trees, smoke rising in dirty columns. He hears another scream, then nothing. His jaw tightens until it touches. He turns away. A sudden burst of automatic fire rips through the trees to his left. Bark sprays. Ivan throws himself behind a fallen log, splinters biting into his cheek. He presses his face into the wood and tastes blood. Footsteps approach fast, too fast. He rolls onto his back and fires from the ground. The recoil jars his arms. A man goes down, spinning, his rifle flying from his hands. Another stumbles, shouting for a medic. Ivan scrambles to his feet, chambering another round as he runs. The rifle's bolt sticks for a heartbeat, just long enough to make his pulse spike, then slides home. He bursts out of the trees into a narrow clearing and freezes. A truck blocks the fire, engine idling, mounted gun pointed straight at him. The gunner's eyes widen as they lock onto Ivan. For a split second, neither of them moves. Then the machine gun roars. Ivan dives sideways as the ground erupts where he stood. He rolls, comes up behind a boulder, broad rugged. Stone chips explode around him. He knows he can't outrun that gun. He knows the old rifle has one chance. He leans out just enough to see the gunner again. Adjusts. Waits for the smallest pause in the gun's rhythm. One shot. The gunner jerks backward, slumping against the mound. The machine gun falls silent. For a moment, the forest is filled only with ringing ears and the smell of cardite. Ivan doesn't celebrate. He runs. By the time the soldiers reach the clearing, he is gone. Only footprints remain, leading nowhere, swallowed by mud and leaves. The officer in charge stands stir, fists clenched, staring into the trees. Find him, he snarls. I want that man alive. Far away, hidden among rocks and shadow, Ivan Petrov sits with his back against a tree, rifle across his knees. His hands finally begin to shake, not from fear, but from everything he has been holding back for years. The old war has found him again. And there will be no easy escape this time. Night comes early under the forest canopy. The light fades into deep blues and blacks, and the air grows colder, heavier. Ivan moves slower now, every step. His body is reaching its limits, and he knows it. Muscles ache, lungs rasp, and each breath scrapes his throat raw. Still, he doesn't stop. Stopping is death. He reaches a narrow stream cutting through the land like a dark scar. The water is ледяная, painfully cold. Ivan steps into it without hesitation. The shock steals his breath, but he welcomes it. He walks upstream, feet sinking into slick stones, letting the current erase his tracks. The rifle is held high, wrapped in his coat to keep it dry. Each stays a test of balance and will. After 50 meters, he slips into the undergrowth on the far bank and crouches low. He listens. Shouts echo faintly downstream. Frustrated, confused. Dogs bark. Ivan's eyes narrow. Dog's meantime is running out. He strips a piece of cloth from the lining of his coat, rubs it with mud and crushed leaves, and throws it back into the stream. A small deception, but sometimes small things keep you alive. He presses himself into the earth and waits. Minute pass. 10 boots splash into the water. Flashlights cut through the darknesses, beams jerking nervously. Voices arc in sharp whispers. One of the dogs whines, pulling against its leash, uncertain. Ivan's heart hammers, but his face is calm, almost empty. He becomes part of the forest, another dark shape among many. The patrol moves on, only then does Ivan allow himself to move again. He crawls uphill, away from the stream, until his hands find stone. An old hunting blind sits stir, half calloused, forgotten by time. He remembers it suddenly, built by men who are probably dead now. He squeezes inside, wood creaking softly, and finally allows his body to rest. Inside the blind, the silence is thick. Ivan checks his rifle by touch, fingers tracing every familiar scratch and dent. He cleans the barrel with a scrap of cloth, careful, almost tender. The weapon has saved him again. He whispers a quiet thank you without realizing it. Sleep comes in broken fragments. Faces appear behind his closed eyes, his father, the boy in the ravine, the woman's scream in the village. He jerks awake, hand tightening on the rifle, breath sharp. No it took, just memory, as the horse crawl past, distant engines growl. Vehicles, more of them, a sweep, they are not leaving, they are closing the net. At first light, Ivan peers through a crack in the blind. The forest below is alive with movement now, soldiers spreading out, methodical, patient. This is no longer panic. This is a hunt. Ivan exhales slowly, his escape route is gone. The mountains rise behind him, steep and unforgiving. Going forward means fighting, staying means being surrounded. He loads the rifle, the click loud in his own ears. One round left in the chamber, a few more in his pocket. Not enough for a war, enough to make a point. His eyes harden, summiting old and ruthless as waking fully now. The man who wanted to disappear is gone. What remains is a soldier shaped by losses, armed with an old rifle and nothing left to fear. Ivan slips out of the blind and melts into the shadows, moving toward the sound of boots. The forest braces each leaf. Blood will stain its roots before the sun reaches its peak.